Welcome, I'm Min. Today I will show to all you guys how to custom an annotation in map view with Xcode version 10 and Swift language version 5. First, create a myAnnotation class in a new Swift file. File, new file, choose iOS source Swift file, and click Next. Set the Save As field to myAnnotation.swift and click Create. Open myAnnotation.swift in the editor and add the following, below import foundation. To adopt the MapKit protocol, myAnnotation must subclass an subject, because MKAnnotation is an NS-object protocol. The MKAnnotation protocol requires the coordinate property. If you want your annotation view to display a title and subtitle when the user taps a pin, your class also needs properties named title and subtitle. In the document outline, select Safe Area to see its top edge is slightly lower than the view's top edge. From the object library, drag a MapKit view into the upper corner of the scene, aligning its top edge with the dashed blue line below the view's top edge, then drag its lower right corner to meet the view's lower right corner. Use the Add New Constraints Auto Layout menu, the TIE Fighter icon, to pin the map view. Uncheck Constraint to Margins, then set all the neighbor values to 0, and click Add 4 Constraints. Connect the map view interface to view controller class. After that, check back the connection between interface and view controller class. Apply view controller class to view controller interface. This is not necessary because normally, with this first view controller, it's automatic to apply. Setting visible area. Switch back to the standard editor and, in viewcontroller.swift, find viewDidLoad, and add the following to the end of the method. You'll use this to set the starting coordinates of the map view to a point in my company in Singapore. When telling the map what to display, giving a latitude and longitude is enough to center the map, but you must also specify the rectangular region to display, to get a correct zoom level. Add the following constant and helper method to the class. The location argument is the center point. The region will have north, south, and east-west spans based on a distance of region radius. You set this to 1000 meters. A little more than half a mile set region tells MapView to display the region. The map view automatically transitions the current view to the desired region with a neat zoom animation, with no extra code required. Back in viewDidLoad, add the following line to the end of the method. Next, you'll add a MyAnnotation object to the map view for every MyAnnotation you want to plot. For now, you're adding only one MyAnnotation, so switch to viewController.swift and add the following lines to the end of viewDidLoad. Command and R to run to see what we have done, an annotation in our map. Configuring the annotation view. One way to configure the annotation view is to implement the map view's mapViewDelegate method. Your job in this delegate method is to return an instance of MKAnnotationView to present as a visual indicator of the annotation. In this case, viewController will be the delegate for the map view. To avoid clutter and improve readability, you'll create an extension of the viewController class. Add the following at the bottom of viewController.swift. Here's what you're doing. Map view gets called for every annotation you add to the map, just like table view cell for row it when working with table views, to return the view for each annotation. Your app might use other annotations, like user location, so check that this annotation is a MyAnnotation object. If it isn't, return nil to let the map view use its default annotation view. To make markers appear, you create each view as an MK marker annotation view. Later in this tutorial, you'll create MK annotation view objects to display images instead of markers. Also, similarly to table view cell for row at, a map viewer uses annotation views that are no longer visible. So you check to see if a reusable annotation view is available before creating a new one. Here you create a new MK marker annotation view object if an annotation view could not be dequeued. It uses the title and subtitle properties of your MyAnnotation class to determine what to show in the callout. All that's left is setting view controller as the delegate of the map view. You can do this in main.storyboard, but I prefer to do it in code, where it's more visible. In viewController.swift, add this line to view did load before the statement that creates my annotation. And that's it. Build and run your project, and tap the marker to pop up the callout bubble. Set up current location in simulator devices. Check permission of simulator devices for using location of this app. Customizing annotations. Markers with color coding and text. Remember the discipline property in the MyAnnotation class? Its values are things like A and B. In fact, the most numerous disciplines are A blah blah blah, B blah blah blah, C blah blah blah, and D blah blah blah. It's easy to color code the markers, so these disciplines have markers of different colors, with black markers for all the other disciplines. In MyAnnotation.swift, add this property. Now, you could keep adding code to map view 4, but that would clutter up the view controller. There's a more elegant way, similar to what you can do for table view cells. Create a new Swift file named myAnnotationView.swift and add this code below the import statement. Soon, you'll register this class as a reusable annotation view for MyAnnotations. The system will pass it an annotation as new value, so here's what you're doing. These lines do the same thing as your map view for configuring the callout. Then you set the marker's tint color, and also replace its pin icon, glyph, with the first letter of the annotation's discipline. Now switch to viewController.swift and add this line to view did load just before calling setup UI function. Here, you register your new class with the map view's default reuse identifier. For an app with more annotation types, you would register classes with custom identifiers. Scroll down to the extension and comment out the map view for method. Build and run your app, then move the map around to see the different colored and labeled markers. Add more annotations on our map to do next steps. Just copy, paste, again and again. Change image of marker annotation. I change to flag instead pin icon. Run to see what we have done, a flag marker annotation in our map. Now, you're using a plain old MK annotation view instead of an MK marker annotation view, and the view has an image property. Back in viewController.swift, in viewDidLoad, register this new class instead of my annotation marker view. Run to see what we have done, image annotation only, no longer inside marker. Fix a little bit for another's annotation image, I change to microphone icon. See, all others annotation change become to blue microphone images. Now we make button on the callout. When we click to an annotation, it will show inside the callout with image we want to use. And we also write here a function to response when we click on the button. End of part 1 of MapKit videos. Subscribe to me to see more videos.